That conversation was about the noise around that Cavaliers team and the media portrayal of all of it. The fact that there was so much scrutiny in everything that we did. When I was speaking about being uncomfortable and, quote, being miserable, it was my inability to deal with that media scrutiny. It wasn't the man himself. It was everything that came with a team led by LeBron James. It had nothing to do with being miserable with LeBron. We had and have a very positive relationship. So that was one issue. The other thing that bothered me the most, and frankly, none of this really matters other than the fact that it's inherently wrong. The story was all designed to be about the Pelicans and how our past and how everything we had learned through our failings we were going to apply to how we want to build this Pelicans family.
Oh, Shannon, are you buying what Griffin is selling?
Lies. Skip, you know, I just got back from Hall of Fame weekend, and we had we had three. Johnny Rogers was a safety, but Champ Bailey, Ty Law, cornerbacks. Deion Sanders, I had me and Rod Woodson, who's a very good friend of mine, Skip. I've never seen, they couldn't backpedal like this. Man, that joke was backing up. I thought this prime time here. Now, prime time, who you think is the greatest quarterback, and I won't disagree with you. I do. He couldn't backpedal like this. Skip, my thing is, this is what I learned early on, and David Griffin has been in this business long enough to know how these things work. Skip, the interviewer is in charge of the questions. The interviewee is in charge of the answers. Now, I've been in situations where interviewer comes in under false pretenses. He wants to talk about one thing, knowing that's not really what he wants to talk about, but he has to get in somehow. Because if he says, Shannon, I want to talk about yada, 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 I'm going to go and shut it down, and I'm not going to even give him the opportunity to interview me.
That's true.
David Griffin knew how this worked. The moment it started being about LeBron James, nah, bro, we talk about the Pelicans. LeBron doesn't play for the Pelicans. He's not playing for the Pelicans. I'm not LeBron's general manager.
That is
But no. Skip, he said he started crying when LeBron came back. There was no media noise yet. The moment that they were, I was just crying. I was like, oh my God, I'm miserable. There's no amount of money that's gonna make me stay, even though he was trying to get a contract. At the very last hour before he's like, I'm done. Dan Gilbert's not budging. I'm not going to budge. I'm out of here. Skip, just own it. Everybody knows you're lying. Why do keep people, it's not LeBron, it's the media. No, it's not. You didn't say anything about, Skip, I look back, I didn't say nothing about no media noise. In his original conversation, it was never about media noise. It was only about the media and the noise that they generate once you got that backlash. Skip, how could he have not known that this was going to happen? That you said remember, you don't really need context for miserable. I don't care what anybody, I got married. Jenny, you got married? It was such a beautiful ceremony.
Sure.
But the weather was miserable. What context do I need, Skip? Oh, the wedding, but the weather was miserable. That means the weather wasn't very good. It wasn't conducive, even though the wedding went off without a hitch. The wedding did, but the weather was awful. For him to say he was miserable, he wanted to provide context, and then at the end, Skip, the preface of this article was really about the Pelicans and what we have learned through our Okay, well, you should have made it about the Pelicans. How did LeBron James, once he brought up LeBron James, you shoot that down. LeBron's not a Pelican. I'm not the general manager of LeBron's team.
I don't think the writer brought up LeBron. I could be wrong. I think he brought up LeBron.
Exactly. But he's backpedaling because of the backlash that he's taken, and rightfully so. So everything he said in that first one, he spoke his heart, Skip. He spoke his heart the first time around, and now he's trying to backpedal. But ain't no way up out of this, bro. You stepped up in it.
I am so with you on every point you just made. This whole thing just made me sick. He sold out. He backtracked. He waffled. He got cold feet. He didn't have the stomach to stand up to and behind the quotes that he uttered.
Correct.
And yet, just to be fair, I'm going to throw this out because you've had magazine pieces written about you. I've had a few written about me. And obviously, every once in a while, you try to make a point to a writer that gets lost on the writer, and it doesn't quite come across in print the way you intended it to, and it gets frustrating. I wish he'd understood, or maybe I didn't express myself quite right, that he could absorb what I was trying to say. So David Griffin says, I did a poor job of framing the conversation. Is there a little truth to that? Maybe some. But in the bigger picture, all these quotes rang true to me because he was speaking in the context of pro-Pelican, because he is on fire with the excitement of what he's got at his fingertips now. He can build this. You can't build around LeBron. LeBron is the sun. You can put a few little moons around him, but they have to be veteran moons that you just pluck out of the sky. You know, you can't pluck them out of the draft. It's not going to help. LeBron doesn't want to play with young. He wants to play with proven, tried and true.
He can build the way he wants to through the draft or getting young players.
So he's on fire. He's overzealous with his new opportunity to the point that it's coming across that he's so relieved to get out from under LeBron. Well, I think that's the truth. I think he does look back that he's framing pro-Pelican in the context of anti-LeBron. And the quote about LeBron just wasn't going to be that same animal wanting to win us. I mean, I don't know how you can not frame that. It either is or it isn't.
You brought that up. He didn't ask you.
Nope.
So did you see anything in it? Did you see once LeBron won the title, did you notice any difference? He brought that up, Skip. If he wanted to say, LeBron does make it hard for you to build a championship because he's signing one-year deals. And when you try to go out and get other veteran players to put around him and you want to put them on 3-4-year deals, they're like, well, what happens if LeBron leaves? So he makes it hard. If he says LeBron makes it hard, signing year-to-year deals for us to go out and get other veteran players to pair with LeBron to put them on multiple-year deals, Skip, I can live with that. But let me ask you a question. This is what I had a hard time, and I was talking to someone. I said, when Michael Jordan won 3 titles and retired, whether he was forced to or not, did anybody think after he won the first one, after he won the second one, after he won the third one and retired, did anybody think he ain't got that dog no more? Oh, he don't want to hunt. Michael Jordan got 3 titles. He the best player. What do you need to do this for? But that's what LeBron gets. He won a title, and now everybody say, well, he happy now. Well, then why didn't he retire? Why didn't he quit?
The point was, if you're from that area, how do you dredge it back up again? Because you want to win rings, like multiple rings. Come on, what are you talking about?
Skip, Tom Brady, it was an IG post, and someone had asked Tom, he posted his rings, and they asked him, which one is your favorite? You know what he said, Skip? The next one.
That's a good answer.
It's a great one.
So LeBron James, he wins the title. Granted, they hadn't won a title in 50-plus years in the city of Cleveland. And so now he did that. Everything is like, okay, now I'm good now. You see the way LeBron, Skip, he came back and tried to average a triple-double in the NBA Finals. He averaged a triple-double in the NBA Finals, but he wasn't that animal. He wasn't hungry. And then after Kyrie leaves, even after David Griffin is no longer the general manager, for the entirety of the playoffs, LeBron James was 34, 9, and 9. Really?
Okay. So the noise that David Griffin was most concerned about was what came out of these quotes about LeBron. That's the noise.
Yes, exactly.
And it disappointed me. I lost a little respect for David Griffin that he didn't seem to have the stomach to stand behind these quotes.
You said it.
Yeah. Just let them set. Let them rest, because they do serve as motivation for your young team. Like, I'm way more excited to be here than I was with LeBron. Well, Zion's saying, whoa, here we go.
Right.
Yeah.
But
Lonzo's saying, thank you.
He didn't frame it. Nobody, Skip, I can assure you that interviewer, and I could be wrong, you've done more interviews than me, but it's hard for me to believe that interviewer asked, did you notice a difference in LeBron after he won that first title in Cleveland? He brought that up on his own.
We could be wrong, but I don't think so.
I don't think so either, Skip. But like I said,
reputation.
Yes.
You know? Like just for him to say that the quotes were taken out of context, I mean, that is your reputation as a writer. You'd be done if you were lying.
You know what you got to do, Skip? Because a lot of times when people feel they've been misquoted or they didn't say certain things, they would say, release the transcript. Release the notes, release the recordings of everything. He didn't say that. He didn't say that because you know why, Skip? Because he's talking freely. He's talking openly. He's talking honestly. And he's like, well, I know well, maybe like you and Rob Parker said, well, maybe he didn't think some of these things were going to be on record.
Yep, maybe.
But Skip, when I sit down with an interviewer, I'm assuming that everything that unless I tell you, and there are times I'm like, bro, it's not on record now.
Yep.
Unless I say that, I'm assuming everything that I say is going to be put out there.
My advice to you is if you don't know said writer, I wouldn't say anything's off the record. It's either on or not.
Right.
Right?
Or just, first of all, Skip, where did he think this was going to go? You're not talking about some, Skip, you're not talking about some third-year guy or just some average guy. No. Dude, that's LeBron James.
That's LeBron James, and my favorite baloney-filled quote was from David Griffin in this interview that he did Friday. He said, we, as in me and LeBron, had and have a very positive...
No, you don't.
Nope.
Oh, no, you don't.
Nope. Very positive.
The first point.
Had?
Yeah, you had.
Past tense?
That past tense.
Had.
There is no present tense. There is no current tense.
That bridge got burned.
Yeah,
that ship sailed.
Yeah, and guess what? And they threw some, that's Chernobyl. Yeah. All the earth around it is no longer
scorched.
Good. Yeah.